Thank you very much, and it's an honor for me to be here in this venue, which has seen very many remarkable personalities, very many remarkable women. I know that this is the place where Bhutto was the first Muslim president of this union, and many other outstanding women, Mother Teresa, among others. And so I'm very proud to be able here to talk to you and to give you some of my views on the current situation. I will talk just a little bit. I don't like very much to do that because I don't think that being the first female president in Georgia and in the region means that I have to specialize in dealing with questions of women in the society. It's one of the important issues. It's one of the important issues for me as a president in internal politics, but it should not, I think, define a woman president. But I just want to give you a few insights because I think that Georgia is not very well known, and it often happens to me that when I meet with people from other countries, they say, oh, you are the first female president, that must be difficult, because they see Georgia as being a country that must be more oriented than Europe and probably with very non-feminist policies and very strict separation of men and women. And I want to dissipate these mythical views because Georgia is not that at all. It has been from the very old times. If our mythology starts with women, Medea, for instance, and many others, women goddesses were in all the regions. Our first Christianity in the 4th century comes through a woman, through a 17-year-old woman. Our first saints are women. Our main queen, she was called a king because she was so equal and powerful. At the time of the major prosperity of Georgia was a woman, and that continued over the times. And it's very interesting that the whole resistance of Georgia in the end of the 18th century, 19th century to the Russian Empire, and before that to other empires, was very much in the hands of women that were fighting to the end, and many of them were deported, were killed at that time. And so we have this history of women that are strong, that are resilient, and it's by no chance that at the time of the first Democratic Republic of Georgia in 1918, the first constitution gives the right to elect to women and elects in the first assembly 5 women, out of which one is the first Muslim woman to be elected in any assembly. And it continues because at the time of Soviet repressions, women were directly submitted to these repressions, very often deported with their children in Central Asia and in very difficult surroundings. And then we come to the latest period, which the latest Soviet repression in Georgia before the independence in 1991 was in 1989 when the Soviet tanks went into Tbilisi, used gas against the civilian population, and there too the very vast majority of the population that was standing on the street was constituted by women, and the number of victims, women, were the highest. So here am I, and hence my election is nothing of a revolution in Georgia. It was taken, there are other things for which I had to fight, and I have maybe today to fight, but not for the fact of being a woman, which is, if not quite normal, at least it is accepted. I would wish not to have the problems that we have and that we share with many other countries today, which are linked to the society, the way it has evolved, which is domestic violence, the fact that we still do not have equal pay in many of the civil service for women, but that is progressing. We do not have enough women in the parliament, and that is very much, I think, linked to the polarization, to the hate speech, and to many of these today very harsh politics that we are seeing. And I think that there too we are no exception. But all in all, when I meet with the population and I walk in the streets or in some villages and I ask to the girls that I meet and that come to take the selfies, because that's happening as elsewhere in the world, and I ask them, would you like to become a president one day? And the answer is a very detached way, yes, why not? So that's the major, I think, achievement for a woman president, that it becomes routine.